In the world of MMA, mixed martial arts, fighters train tirelessly to hone their skills, focusing on strength, technique, endurance, and mental toughness. They dedicate themselves to mastering a variety of fighting styles, from Muay Thai and boxing to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. MMA fighters are some of the most skilled athletes on the planet, capable of taking down opponents quickly and efficiently. Despite this, there's always a group of stupid normal guys, people with no combat experience, who believe they can take on professional fighters. The results are often embarrassing and, at times, painful. This article takes a closer look at real-life incidents where everyday people foolishly tried to challenge MMA fighters and ended up learning the hard way that messing with a pro is never a good idea. 1. The drunk guy who tried to fight Georges St-Pierre. Georges St-Pierre, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, has a reputation for being humble and well-mannered outside the octagon. However, there was one unfortunate incident where a random guy tried to mess with the Canadian fighter. In 2010, Georges St-Pierre was at a nightclub in Montreal when a drunk man, apparently unaware of who he was, began challenging him. The man was reportedly shouting insults at St-Pierre, claiming that he could beat the fighter in a street fight. After a few exchanges, the drunk guy moved closer and pushed St-Pierre, testing the fighter's patience. What happened next was the reality check that every untrained challenger learns. Georges St-Pierre, calm and composed, calmly stepped out of the situation, using his martial arts discipline to de-escalate. St-Pierre, known for his restraint, did not engage in a physical altercation, but instead made it clear that such behavior wasn't going to be tolerated. This incident didn't just serve as a reminder to the drunk guy, it also reminded the world that MMA fighters are far more skilled than any untrained individual, no matter how tough they think they are. 2. The bar brawl with Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, a tough fighter from Stockton, California, is known for his brash attitude and willingness to scrap with anyone. But even the most confident fighters can face the occasional challenger who overestimates their own abilities. In one incident, Diaz was at a bar when a man, likely intoxicated, approached him and challenged him to a fight. The challenger, known for his own tough guy attitude, probably thought that the street would level the playing field. Little did he know, Diaz has a notorious reputation for being a scrapper both in and out of the octagon. The man threw a punch, but Diaz effortlessly dodged it, immediately closing the distance between them. Within seconds, Diaz had the man in a submission hold, his long experience in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu putting the wannabe tough guy to shame. It wasn't long before the challenger tapped out, realizing that being tough in the streets doesn't compare to being trained in the art of combat. While Nate Diaz is certainly known for his street brawls, this event proved once again that a trained fighter's reflexes, technique, and calmness in a tense situation are leagues beyond that of an average person. This encounter also shows that no matter how confident someone may be in a bar fight, MMA fighters have the discipline to handle any situation. 3. The gym incident with Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, one of the most famous and brash MMA stars of the modern era, has a reputation for not backing down from a challenge. But sometimes that challenge comes from someone with absolutely no fighting experience, just an inflated sense of confidence. In 2017, McGregor was at a gym in Las Vegas when a man, who was later revealed to be a former boxer, approached him and began to talk trash. The man had been boasting about how he could take on McGregor in a fight. Despite McGregor's vast experience and previous MMA world titles, the man refused to back down, leading to a test of McGregor's patience. The two men squared off in a sparring session, and it wasn't long before McGregor showed why he's one of the best fighters in the world. The challenger, clearly outmatched, found himself on the receiving end of McGregor's precise strikes and quick footwork. It wasn't long before the man was humbled and forced to tap out. This encounter serves as a prime example of why non-fighters should think twice before challenging someone with years of professional training. The difference between a fighter and an average person becomes painfully clear when the two are matched up. 4. The guy who wanted to test Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva, widely regarded as one of the best MMA fighters of all time, has built a legendary career in the sport. His striking, clinch game, and ability to avoid damage are part of what made him such an incredible champion. But there are always people who think they can take down a fighter like Silva. In 2013, Silva was at an event when Guy approached him, claiming that he could beat Silva in a fight. The challenger was supposedly an amateur boxer and thought he could land a punch on Silva based on his own perceived skill. Silva, with his calm demeanor, agreed to demonstrate a sparring session to prove the difference between a seasoned fighter and an untrained individual. The result was an absolute beatdown for the challenger. Silva, without using his full power, easily dodged every punch thrown and countered with fluid, precise strikes. Eventually, the challenger's test came to an abrupt end, and Silva was once again confirmed as a world-class fighter. This incident is a prime example of how real fighters, even when sparring lightly, can easily handle someone with little to no combat experience. It's a stark reminder of the gap in skill level between trained professionals and average people. 5. The Jiu-Jitsu lesson for the tough guy in the club. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is often considered one of the most effective martial arts for self-defense. It focuses on submissions, positioning, and using leverage to overpower an opponent, regardless of their size or strength. In one memorable incident, an individual walked into a club and started picking a fight with a group of people. One of the people he chose to confront just happened to be a BJJ black belt. The tough guy was all bluster and bravado as he squared up to the BJJ expert, convinced his size and strength would be enough to take him on. However, as soon as the fight began, the BJJ black belt demonstrated exactly why grappling and submission techniques can be so effective. The tough guy was quickly swept onto the ground and locked into a submission hold, tapping out almost immediately. The lesson was clear. Brute strength doesn't beat skill and technique in a real fight, especially when dealing with an expert in BJJ. 6. The UFC fighter versus the bar brawler. In 2019, UFC fighter Mike Perry found himself in a situation at a bar where a man, who was much bigger and seemingly stronger, started challenging him. Perry, known for his aggressive style in the octagon, initially tried to avoid the altercation, but the man wouldn't let it go. After some back and forth, the two stepped outside, where the big guy tried to land a haymaker. Perry, using his superior movement and striking skills, avoided the punch and landed several clean shots, knocking the man down within moments. The challenger was left humiliated and quickly realized that no amount of size could counteract the skill and speed of a trained fighter. These real-life incidents highlight a painful truth. Trying to mess with an MMA fighter is never a good idea. Whether it's a drunk guy in a bar, a jealous ex, or someone who simply thinks their street fighting skills will suffice, challenging a professional fighter is a surefire way to get humiliated. MMA fighters spend years honing their skills, and their ability to avoid damage, control their opponents, and apply various fighting techniques is unmatched by most normal people. The next time someone tries to pick a fight with an MMA pro, they should remember these incidents and think twice before they make the same mistake.